welcome back to Actually Sapphic. I'm Shari.
And my name is Alyssa.
And who do we have right here?
This is the love of my life. The love of Shari's life.
True, this is true.
This is Riker.
People probably thought for like 2 seconds that we're like in a polyamorous relationship.
Probably. And for those of you who obviously can't see because this is a podcast, Riker is indeed my 3-legged cat.
Riker's the cutest, best cat I have ever known. But don't tell my sister or my 2 cats.
Very true. I do love your cats, though. All right, Riker, go behind there and do good producing things.
Good got that.
All right. So, we're here for a reason. And did you want to tell the listeners what that reason might be?
Oh my god, fuck yeah. This is my absolute favorite animated show that has come out in the past, 4 years. So we're watching season 1 right now. And if you can't guess what that is, but I think it's in my top 5, might be top 3 animated shows. We are about to watch the very amazing Arcane.
Yes, Arcane.
But we'll be watching the first season right now.
Yes, we're doing the first season. Season 2 has just come out. I haven't watched that one either. So far, I've only watched all the way through season 1 except for the last episode. And then we'll be watching the finale episode and obviously discussing it. And then the next episode, if you stick around for next week, we will be diving into season 2.
And because, per usual, I'm impatient and I don't wait for anything, I have already watched, obviously, season 1 and season 2.
Well, I think it's best because then it's, I'm coming from a fresh perspective, but you're coming from someone who's, already seen it. So you're catching other stuff that the first-time person isn't catching. So I think, I think I'm here for it.
Yeah, no, I do agree with that.
Yep. Did you want to read the synopsis for our little fans? It's this one right here. Go ahead.
All right. So for those of you who haven't watched Arcane, first of all, what the fuck are you doing?
First of all, who are you?
Yeah.
Okay, I literally haven't watched it though. But who are you?
Do you know how long it took me to convince Alyssa to actually watch Arcane?
Did you want to tell them how we watched it, or did you just want to leave that to their imagination?
No, I'll tell them. Okay, so basically, I've been trying before we even thought of this podcast, I've been trying for so long to get Alyssa to watch this. And she said, before we even started the podcast, she said, I'll only watch it with you if you get high with me and we watch it. And so, obviously, I agreed, because if this is the way I was going to get her to watch it, then,
And this had been years in the making, too. She had said, okay, sure, and then we just, had kind of put it off for, since now it's season 2.
Yeah,
so that tells you.
For a while.
Anyways, yep. So, Shari came over, and I had these nice little edibles that a friend of mine made for the Christmas time. And she ate half of it. Great, good, dandy. Great, awesome. An hour into it, I asked her, you feeling it yet? And she was like, no. And I'm like, okay, well, you should definitely eat the second half. And without thought, she just goes, yeah, you're right. Pops it right in. And that was the last I heard of Shari.
I'm so glad we weren't recording that whole thing.
I think you said maybe a solid 10 words after that total. And I just kept looking over at you, and you were just dead ass staring. And I was like, I don't know if she's even with me anymore.
You're like, do I need to do something?
I just let you be, because I was like, I don't want to I know if I'm stoned and in my head, I just want to be left alone. So I just kind of let you do. And I was like, you know where things are. You're at my house. You're safe.
Bro, I had literally convinced myself. I was like, I have broken down this entire animation. I was like, this is no longer a 3D animated show. It's 2D.
Ooh, and those colors. Yeah.
I wasn't even paying attention to the story. Thank God I had already watched it, but I was barely paying attention.
But yeah, so we watched Arcane. So the synopsis for Arcane season 1, please, if you would.
Alright. So, amid the stark discord of twin cities, Piltover and Zaun, 2 sisters fight on rival sides of a war between magic technologies and clashing convictions. That was actually really good. Whoever wrote this, great A. Good job. That was a really good explanation to that.
All right, well, we're going to go ahead and get into it. We're going to watch episode 9. There's 9 episodes in season 1. And, yeah.
We'll be back.
Stay with us. Yeah, here we go.
No, they just killed the kid. Jace killed the
kid. Jace kills a kid?
Mm-hmm.
You didn't have a choice.
Bro, this intro goes so hard. This is why you don't fuck with magic. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I have my thoughts about Mbessa
I'll write her name down.
Yeah, but I want those like, that is my no, honestly, I want to be like, bye.
Bye.
I do want bye.
I'm curious how it, like, cut through the glass and the metal of his jaw in such a straight, like...
Well, because she has, like, what's it called? She has, a teched out arm that's, like, built in shimmer.
Oh, okay. So it was like a super blade.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I was curious.
But it won't be the last.
The way she grabs his lighter after and just like, oh, that's the most badass move right there.
I do have a crush on Sabika, I'm not gonna lie.
She murders this guy by cutting through his, like, face into his jaw and then just uses the dude's lighter to light up afterwards. Like, perfection. This is where I would want to live if I was in this society, is this area in this little treehouse. It reminds me a lot of Avatar.
This is something to all the younger siblings out there. Y'all should listen to the older siblings.
Yeah. Gross. If someone came up to me and licked me on my head, I'd fight them.
Oh. Hands on sight.
I have to give it to him. That's a dope record, like,
right?
situation. Jukebox, I guess. Yeah, it's more closely to.
Respect, though. That's because, like, nah, this is me and her.
Bruh. That's where they end it?
Bro.
Wow. I think I need a second from that finale, to be honest. That ended on a cliffhanger. The bomb was exploding through the windows in a very... Dude, the animation on this is something freaking else. That was spectacular. Like, you could see the... Just like, if you're thinking about it picture by picture, you could see the bomb hitting the window, and you could see the reflection of the bomb in the shattering panes.
Oh.
Like, the detail in which it, like... Wow, that was cool. I'll have to give it. I give it that.
Oh my god, no, Alyssa. I mean, there's so many instances of this in season 1, but like also in season 2. Like, I can imagine like this one specific instance. You don't understand how crazy truly how crazy. Like what you're saying, like yeah, but like it's even more than that. Cause just like if you even like did like frame by frame with the bomb hitting and stuff, like you can even see like Jinx's doodles and stuff. Like it's just like a bunch of things, and it's just like. Yeah, so basically also, just to say for our listeners and everything, one of the reasons why we picked Arcane, obviously, was for the underlying sapphic energy that, I'm not going to spoil anything, just becomes a little bit more in season 2, but also because even though this project was made in the US, this is a French animation company that animated Arcane, and I think that that's just, like, crazy, and it's like the work that they do is like insane. It's unlike any animation that you've seen before. Yeah,
the animation, it was next level. Absolutely next level. So, of course, we have a few topics we want to discuss. Was there anything you wanted to get started with, or should I just jump right in?
Well, before you jump right in, I just want to know, like, okay, so like, what do you think? Since this is your first time watching it, this is my second time watching it.
Okay, so that actually kind of does bring me into my first point anyway, so it's kind of fun that you asked that. Overall, I liked it. Would I go back and like say I'd rewatch it? Probably not. One of the big turning points for me though that like really drew me from really enjoying it to not enjoying it as much, to be quite honest, was what it felt like 3 episodes of character building just to kill off more than half the characters.
Oh.
Like that, I get why they did it. We needed to character build and bring like realize where Jinx comes from and all of that stuff. But I really fell in love with those characters.
Are you talking about like Vander and Milo and like
the siblings?
Yeah. Okay,
I really enjoyed the siblings a lot. I really enjoyed their dynamic. I thought we were gonna get like a season of this, like that hijinks and stuff, and then it very drastically changed. And I think we established during Debs, I just prefer more campy stuff. And
obviously.
And this was just very dark and kind of started off very dark, very strong. Overall, though, I would say I'll give it closer to I think I'd give it closer to a 7.5, though. Music and the animation the coloring, the animation, it just blew it away. Absolutely. So it gets extra on that, while I didn't enjoy the sad characters dying.
Oh my god. This is coming from well, actually, no. Now that I think about the things that you watch. Yeah, no, okay, I get it. I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, no, this is season 1. I mean, I have my thoughts on season 2, which we'll get into next episode.
Yeah, we're not even touching season 2 yet.
Yeah, but, I mean, this season when it came out, even watching, okay, this is not my second time watching it, let's be honest. But this is a 10 out of 10 for me. I think, I understand what you're saying about that. I know, like, there's a lot of discourse and argument on whether or not they should have had such a long, because it's, like, 3 episodes of, like, basically, like, exposition. And that's what, like, made a lot of people not actually continue watching Arcane. Mm-hmm. Because you get all this exposition and then you get into the story.
Yep.
So, like, maybe, like, I can see why people, like, argue that point. But, like, I'm on this, like, topic. Okay, I think you almost needed all that exposition. And, like, for you to feel kind of, like, that loss of those characters with Jinx and Vi, to really understand, like, the complexity of both of the characters of Jinx and Vi. Why Jinx even becomes Jinx, like...
But I think you could have done it more in, like, the way One Piece did it. The new remake of One Piece, the animation. They have a very similar setup in it, where he, like, has this, like, family unit. I'm pretty sure he has this family unit, something happens, and then he goes on his own. Mm. And they set that up within one episode, and sure, they call back to it, but it's done in one episode. And the reason I have issue with it is because, to me, it seems like Arcane Season 1 is now broken up into 2 different series, almost. There's episodes 1 through 3 that are one complete series, and then there's 4 through 9 that are this completely different series that, yeah, goes with 1 through 3, but they're almost like 2 very different storylines kind of meshing together in episode 4. And that's kind of the vibe I get from it.
That's fair. I get it. Also, though, to be fair, when this first came out, and this is also what happened with season 2, is that this came out in 3 acts.
Okay, can you give what would have been, like, act 1, act 2, like, episode wise, what would have been in each?
So for the first 3 episodes was act 1.
Okay, that actually tracks now.
Yeah, and then act 2 was 4 through 6. Episodes 4 through 6.
Okay, actually, when you break it down that way, I understand it a little bit better. In that system, complete streaming, which is obviously what I did, start to finish, because it's been out for a long time.
Right.
The complete 9 episodes don't stand 1 through 9, but if you break it up 1 through 3, 4 through 6, and then 6 through 9, or 7 through 9, or whatever. Yeah. That actually does track for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, to be fair, you did get a different viewing experience.
Yeah, totally. If you had set that up from the beginning, I might have been having... Yeah, actually, now that you mention that.
Also, keep this in mind for next week's episode for season 2, because they did the same exact thing. It was like, it came out episodes 1 through 3, 4 through 6, 7 to 9.
Is there 9 or 10 in season 2?
9.
Okay, so 9 to 9. All right, cool. Another thing I wanted to talk about is them in the brothel. Because this is, like, to me, this is the start of the 2 characters, Caitlyn, who maybe you can set up Caitlyn a little bit better, and Vi, who is the sister of Jinx and all of that, who the story is, like, sort of about. And they're in a brothel. And then why don't you just set it up for everyone?
Alright, so, like, they're back... Oh, I love them so much. Sorry. They're back in the undercity. They're trying to basically find information about, like, Jinx and Silco and everything like that.
And this is the first time they've really worked together, right?
Yeah. Like, literally, like, Caitlyn breaks Vi out of prison because she's been wrongfully imprisoned. We can talk about this in a second, too. Basically, she's been in prison all these years. Caitlyn breaks her out of prison just to help her, basically. And so, like, because Vi kind of becomes her, like, wayward of the undercity. Which is also really interesting to see in the sense that, like, Vi has been gone for years. Like, the Undercity has changed so much. But to kind of see this interaction where, like, she still does, like, there are still things that are still, like, where they were. You know, like, the brothel and stuff. Mm-hmm. And she has this connection still. It's pretty cool. Anyways, that being said, they go to a brothel because Vi is going to go get information. And Caitlyn, being the proper little mongoose that she is.
Mongoose.
Okay, no, the thing is, people that have watched season 2 will understand that reference. The little privileged person that she is freaking the fuck out. The little gaby that she is.
Yeah, the gaby.
Yeah, is freaking the fuck out. She's like, what am I supposed to do here? And, like...
We'll figure it out.
Vi does the whole, like, hand against the wall, like, pin her against the wall, kind of looks her up and down, then walks around her, and it's just like, you're hot, cupcake. And
you're hot cupcake, and that scene was hot.
Bro, also, like, the pin up against the wall, she got so close to her face.
Well, we all know the pin up against the wall thing is very attractive.
Obviously.
Well, it's a vibe. It's definitely, like, a TikTok trend right now, too.
Yeah, and it's just, like, it's funny because, like, you can kind of tell that Vi, this is the start of Vi kind of, like, also filling, like, Caitlyn out, just kind of, like, trying to get a vibe, but, like, without straight up asking or anything like that. Though, I don't think it would be past Vi's character to just be straight up, be like,
no, she seems
gay or what?
Yeah.
Vi goes to get her information, whatever, comes back out, and Caitlyn's, like, living it up in this brothel with, like, another woman. And, like, just that little scene where, like, Vi just walks by, looks in, and just, like, has this little smirk on her face. It's like her, like, without, like, an explicit, like, consent. It's just, like, that was, like, Vi's, like, yes.
That was her, the green light, the go-ahead, yeah.
Yeah, like, I can flirt with this girl.
Yeah.
What did you think of that scene? I've watched that scene so many times.
I mean, yeah. That scene... It's like, there's only a handful of even suggestively sapphic scenes in this, and that was definitely one of them.
Yeah, there's that, and then there's, I don't know which episode it is. I can probably bring it up or whatever, but there's this one scene where Caitlyn's, like, talking to Vi, and she's just, like, kind of standing there, but you can see her eyes, like, literally go down to her boobs, and then, like stay there for a second, go back up. But it's like, if you're only watching it for, like, the 10 seconds that scene plays out, like, you're probably not noticing that. Which also brings me to, as far as animation-wise, the expressions and the movement, like, of the characters and stuff like that, so beautiful. And, like, so human, like, way more humanistic than I've ever seen, like, most any animated content. There's just those nuances that people just do. Like, for example, something like that, like, something so quick like that, like, bro, do you know how many times I've been caught by my friends? Thank God not by the person that I was looking at. By my friends being like, you just looked her up and down. Like, that's crazy.
That's why I wear sunglasses so often.
Oh, I don't know if this is the only other scene. This is definitely not the only other scene. This is not the only scene, for sure, but there's that other scene where Vi gets hurt and they go into, like, the hideout, like, their, like, old childhood hideout or whatever, and, like, Caitlyn is helping her, but she also gets so close to Vi's face, and also if you, like, look at that scene, Caitlyn looks down at Vi's lip for a second because they're, like, so close.
I do remember that.
Yeah, and then she bites her lip and she pulls away, and I'm like, ugh, the gavies are out. And then there's that scene, obviously, in Caitlyn's room where they're laying on her bed, and they have this, like, little cute, little intimate moment. Also, like, shout out Caitlyn's mom when they first, like, kind of sneak back into Caitlyn's house. Like, I don't know if you saw that, like, Caitlyn hurt her leg, like, Vi's, like, kind of, like, holding her. They walk in, and, like, the moment they walk into Caitlyn's room, like, her mom just, like, kicks down the door, has, like, a whole rifle, like, pointed at them. I thought that was really funny. I feel like that was, like, a little innuendo in and on itself.
I don't remember that.
Yeah. I've seen the show a lot.
Yeah. Some of the other things I wanted to talk about was essentially how the whole Jinx character came about because of a miscommunication. And then kind of the repercussions and moving on into, I think, Jinx, and because of her trauma and the way they portray the last few scenes with her and her confronting, what's his bucket? Silco.
What's his bucket?
I think she's suffering from a breakdown of, like, multiple or split personality, in my opinion. The way she's, like, warring in her head in that way, and just therapeutically based off. It happens when you have, like, severe childhood trauma, essentially.
Yeah.
Which she obviously falls in that category, and I don't know if that's what they meant to portray with it, but that's kind of what I picked up on it. And to me, it was just unfortunate because essentially it could have all been avoided if there had been better communication.
Also, like, what's it called? It's because of fucking Marcus, the enforcer. Because Vi, it's not even just communication. It's just that, like, because, like, I don't even know if you remember, but, like, Vi was about to go back to Powder.
Yeah.
And then Marcus just, like, grabs her.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And then Powder goes off and becomes Jinx, and she thinks that she's, like, left, essentially. Yeah. But she was never left. She was coming back for her. And she just got, like, something happened. So, like, I get it. It's just, again, it's all could have been avoided. And it's just, like, whatever. Anyways, so that was a topic that I was kind of interested in. Not very sapphic, but still interesting.
No.
Nonetheless.
Honestly, like, this also brings me to the topic I want to talk to, too, about, like, not just Jinx, but Jinx and Vi, and this, like...
Yes, exactly. Their whole relationship, their whole dynamic, what it transpires into.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, like, I mean, like, as an older sibling, I have a younger sister. I already mentioned her once, Kiara.
Shout out my best friend.
Okay, whatever. Anyways, she said she wanted to be shout out on the podcast, so I'm using her name. Shout out, Kiara. Anyways, but as an older sibling, and, like, older sibling by, like, 6.5 years, I really relate to Vi in the sense of, like, this kind of, like, Vi's more than just, like, I mean, they're really close as siblings when we see them younger and everything like that, but also, like, kind of like a parental figure in a way. And Vi got so much hate, I remember, when the first season dropped, and, like, there's also things that happened in the second season. Anyways, but Vi got so much hate, and I'm like, okay, I'm here for Vi, okay? Like,
hate for what?
Because, like, it was several things. It was, like, the fact that, like, when they were younger, like, when Vi was just like, you're a Jinx, and, like, kind of goes off on Powder. I'm just like, guys, Vi was also a kid that just saw her second father basically murdered in front of her. And she tried so hard. Like, and they were so close to getting out of that situation until Powder basically kind of fucked it up. Which also, like, I'm not even giving any hate to Powder. I understand where she's coming from. She's this young kid. She also is trying to protect her family for the second time, because both Vi and Powder have lost their parents once. I get it, and she just doesn't know what's going on and everything like that, but it's just like, people were hating on Vi because of that, because they're just like, well, Vi just kind of, like, created this whole problem, you know? And it's just like, she's a kid! And then it's just like, all the decisions she kind of makes throughout the season, people have, like, judged a little bit, but I'm just like, she was a kid when this happened. She was also going to turn right back around and basically apologize to her and basically go back to her sister, and, like, that was out of her control because she just basically got, like, nabbed by, like, Marcus.
Exactly.
And then she gets imprisoned for years.
Mm-hmm.
So she has no concept of the outside world, and then basically the moment she gets out, she's just thrown into basically, like, this chaos of, like, also finding out that her sister's, like, a psychopath now because of, like, because of something she said, and two, because, like, of the shared trauma that they have.
Yeah.
And she feels this sense of, like, I think as an older sibling, like, a lot of older siblings feel this way, the sense of responsibility is like, oh, I need to fix this. And just, like, she doesn't even have the tools to do that. Like, she's, again, been in prison for years and tortured for years. It's just crazy to me. I'm just like, Vi is by far one of my favorite animated characters.
I don't think she did anything wrong, to your point. In where she tells Jinx, or Powder, that she's a Jinx, it comes after this tremendous trauma where she tells Powder to stay home. Powder doesn't. She ends up ruining this thing, getting her 2 brothers and their pseudo-father killed, right? So at the end, she's just frustrated. Vi is just frustrated. She's just venting her frustrations. Like, you are a Jinx. You did this. She absolutely does not mean it. You can see it. And
yeah.
She walks away. She cools off. As she's coming back, she's coming to apologize. She gets taken. And that's where Silco comes in and really kind of... And that's where Vi gets kind of... It transfers from being Vi's fault to being Silco's fault.
Yeah.
Because he actually takes her and then grooms her to be the psychopath she is.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what he wanted. He saw someone in tremendous trauma and took it and went with it. It was nowhere near being Vi's fault. She was a child that just had this trauma happen to her and was coming back. And then she goes through her whole other side of trauma. So yeah, I don't come at me, but I don't think it's Vi's fault either.
Yeah, because, like, also, like, there's kind of, like, this connection between, like, you know, Silco and Vander were also brothers.
Yes.
And Silco's the younger brother.
Who killed
Vander.
Exactly. Spoiler.
Yeah, spoiler alert. And in season 2, you, like, not to spoil anything about this, I'm not gonna say anything about it, but in season 2, you do see more of that story of how that happened. Just, like, their relationship, like, Silco and Vander's and everything like that. And I think it's really interesting because, like, Silco is, like, this bitter younger sibling, you know, towards his older sibling, and he, like you said, Groom was a great descriptor, like, grooms Jinx basically into the same
mold that he is.
Well,
so that actually kind of brings me to it at the ending where, again, spoiler alert, Jinx ends up killing Silco when
Silco's about to kill Vi.
She can't decide. And what you come to realize in that moment is Silco really did love her like a daughter.
Yeah.
And you're kind of unclear about that, but you also see that Jinx really thought of him as, like, this father figure as well. Mm. So I think it started off nefarious and it turned into them being very like-minded because of them being that way. But I actually do think in a weird way they became each other's family as well.
Oh, for sure. I also think it's really interesting because, like, that is the moment that Jinx also breaks out of that mold.
Yep.
When she kills Silco. Because the thing is, like, Silco, his decision was to kill his older brother. And Jinx could have let that happen with Vi, too.
Yeah, she could have done it as well. She chose to save Vi.
Just the impulse, the direct impulse was to save Vi because of that connection that they truly do have with each other. And I think, like, I don't know. I think that's the reason why this show is, like, one of my favorite, like, top 3 favorite animated shows. Is because, like, I personally, and you guys can suggest if you guys have any other films or shows that have this, but I personally have never seen a sister relationship portrayed in this way. And as close as they are, too. And it's, like, kind of the nuances and stuff of how that works out. And I think it also comes out more in season 2, which I really like. But I don't know, yeah, growing up with my sister, like, we were super, I mean, we still are, but we were super, super close with each other. And, like, I do think, to be fair, like, you know, as we've grown older and stuff like that, there have been, like, kind of, like, growing pains and stuff. But I do remember growing up, like, all my friends were not as close to their siblings. I know you're also a sibling. We're not as close to their siblings and stuff, and, like, people always be like, why are you so close to your sister? Like, why are you so close to your sister? And, like, to see, like, this representation of siblinghood, whatever, like, I don't know, they really spoke to my heart a lot, and I don't know, I really liked it.
One other thing I'll say in fairness of Jinx is I do think because of the structure of the way that she's grown up and the nature of who she became so young, at so young, she became this, like, psychotic killer for Silco. I think that actually stunted her emotionally and maturity-wise at that age.
Yeah.
So I don't think there would ever be a way in which she could mature enough to become a full-fledged adult anymore. Like, I really... If we were to take this out of animation and put it into real people, because I understand it's not... I do actually think she would be someone that got stunted at that age and could not mentally break out of it because of the trauma and all of the stuff she had to endure.
Going off of what you were just saying about, like, being stunted.
Oh, yeah.
I do... Okay, bringing it back to the sapphic content and everything like that, what I want to talk about is that there's been a lot of discourse about whether or not, like... Okay, so we talked about Caitlyn being, like, a gay for sure, because you just see the nerves all over her, right? But there's been a lot of conversation about Vi, because she's been in prison for all these years. So has she been stunted? Like, I just want to see what your viewpoint is. I want to get into this discussion. But, like, has she been stunted kind of, like, sexually and, like, just in that realm and stuff like that from being in prison?
My answer is no.
Okay. Let's hear it.
The reason I think there's a difference is, I want to be very clear, I'm not a psychologist, I don't know this firsthand, but what I will say is I do have this hunch that if you're to kill someone, right, it changes fundamentally who you are, how you perceive the world, everything about it. She happened to, that we're just going to take a guess, she probably happened to kill her first person or feel responsible for killing her first person by the time she was under 13, right?
What are you talking about, Vi?
I'm talking about Jinx.
Okay, Jinx. Okay.
So therefore, I think we see what I've already mentioned. What I think she has is split or multiple personality based on severe childhood trauma.
Right.
That right there alone leads me to think she is somehow stunted or whatever in the age in which all of this happened. There's a lot of evidence that says that maybe she's kind of stuck there.
Yeah.
Vi, on the other hand, has had similar traumas, but it's not trauma that would change her to her core in the same way that Jinx has. Sure, she went to prison, but there are other people there. There are other people her age. There's still kind of this type of, like, society you have, this day-to-day you have. And if you ask about sexually, Jinx wouldn't know to even become sexual, or she would be so sexual and it's an exploitive way because she's so emotionally young.
Yeah.
Vi, on the other hand, can grow up and kind of explore that at the ages that she's at. She can this is so weird. She can masturbate. She can do all of this stuff very naturally. She's gone to this brothel before. It's just in my mind, it's a very different kind of trauma base in which Vi could still grow up and become the adult she meant to be, while unfortunately Jinx is stuck. And that's the difference.
Okay, but there's also, I don't know, obviously we don't get anything about, like, what Vi's time was like in prison.
No,
but
nothing. That's just, like, yeah, this is all just guesstimation.
There's also, like, a hunch that people said, like, well, Vi was, like, in isolation in prison for so long.
That's never brought up.
That's true.
And then at that point she would have a lot more severe mental breakdowns than just her coming out of prison A-okay like she supposedly is. Because if you're sent to isolation for even 30 days, you're going to break down. Like, if you talk to people in our American jail system, over 30 days, you start to lose your mind. You do it for a year, you've gone crazy at that point.
Yeah.
Like, and for her to have done it for years, there's just no way she would have been the same person.
That's fair. Okay.
But come out, I mean,
Like, come at me.
Again, I'm not a psychologist.
No, I like this. I think this is interesting. I will say, I do think the one thing that I will say that Vi is stunted in, like, I agree with you about, like, her experience in prison and everything like that, and, like, there's other people and everything like that. I think what she is stunted in is, like, this more, I think the romantic side of, like, a relationship and stuff like that, and, like, that love, because I think that, like...
But I don't think stunted is the right word. She's just inexperienced.
Yeah, inexperienced. I think that's a good way, yeah.
Jinx is actually stunted. I think Vi is inexperienced. Yes. One can be learned, and one is, like, kind of borderline, can't ever get there.
Okay, that's a good...
That's the distinction I'm trying to get to, I think, and I should have been more clear.
I like that. That was good. Okay.
Yeah.
I get it. So what do you think about Caitlyn?
I think Caitlyn, again, is just
you think she's
inexperienced with the ladies. I don't know about men, because, again, we don't know her prior history. I think both Vi and Caitlyn are just romantically and relationshiply inexperienced, not necessarily one or the other. Like,
Caitlyn gives me the vibe as, like, you know, like, the perfect daughter, like, just, like, very, like, vanilla, very, like, pure, quote unquote, in the sense of, like, she just, like, never even thought about doing anything like that. And then she goes out with Vi in the Undercity, which she's, like, introduced to for the first time. It's, like, kind of like...
Oh, like if you're from the Hunger Games and you're from, like, the capital, but then you go to, like, the seedy District 12.
Yeah, exactly. And then she's just like, oh. And, like, that's why you see Caitlyn in the brothel when Vi comes out, and she's just like, oh, I kind of like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She finally, like, is like, oh, I'm free to explore.
Yeah.
We also don't know if sexuality is as rigid in the Arcane world as it is in...
I don't think it is. From my viewpoint, I think it's, like, pretty fluid from what I've seen.
This is a different world, to be completely fair. It's not set in any kind of world we know it. There's body modifications. There's all sorts of...
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like, this is not any type of society we would understand it as, so that's another thing. Like, it could just not be an issue there.
Yeah, because, like, if you think about this, like, the Arcane... I mean, based off of League of Legends, which, like, I've never played League of Legends or League. I have a lot of friends that played League in high school and stuff like that. I tried for, like, once in high school and once when Arcane first came out, and I could not play it. It is the most complicated game ever. Anyways, if anyone wants to explain it to me, please do. But, like, this world is even bigger than what we see on screen, because this is just, like, a very, like, pointed story about, like, a couple characters in League. And, like, I just think any world where you have, like, I mean, body modifications, but also, like, creatures and stuff like that. True. Like, sexuality becomes way less of a thing, I guess, you know? Because I feel like the discrimination starts coming in now from, like, upper and lower class, like, just, like, creature, like,
it's not about, like, the gay versus the straight, it's versus the upper and the upper world and the underworld.
Yeah,
essentially,
exactly. Yeah.
More of a caste system than whatever.
Yeah, no, because let me tell you, I know that my homegirl Savika is also gay.
Savika
is the one with the arm.
Oh,
like that really awesome fight scene with Vi.
Okay, so
I am in love, guys. I am in love.
Can we talk about this fight scene though? Because I know you love it, and I actually have issue with it.
Okay, go ahead.
Do you want to tell them why you loved it first, or do you want me to tell you the issue I have with it first?
Okay, I just love the fight scene so much because, like, okay, first of all, it's animated beautifully, but, you know, we've already talked about how beautiful the animation is.
Well, actually, one thing I'll point out is, in the fight scene in particular, one thing that I caught on to, which I thought was really freaking cool, was they sort of use and dim the background colors. If you've noticed this, they use like a very gray bar scene and, like, very gray bar, and it's not very colorful, and then the fight itself, just vivid color, like, just vividity everywhere.
Light.
And it's just, like, in that in itself is really cool, and I'll give you that, yes.
And I also like this. I like also Savika and Vi's first fight when Vi first comes back to the Undercity, and, like, she sees Savika and she's just like, fuck you, bitch. You know? I also really like that fight scene as well. But I think the thing about their fight scenes, and honestly all the fight scenes in Arcane, is, again, like, these, like, humanistic nuances about it. Because, like, in that fight scene, for example, there's a moment where, like, they're both kind of, like, taking a break. Because they're like, fuck. And, like, Vi literally takes a drink at, like, the bar. Like, she kind of hypes herself back up. Like, Savika's, like, sitting, like, on one of the, like, at the bar tables and stuff like that. Like,
yeah.
I'm so obsessed with the nuances in Arcane. I'm so obsessed with, the human expression and emotion and stuff like that. And, like, also, I really love Savika and Vi a lot.
Okay. Now for me to shit on the fight scene.
Go ahead.
And there's only one real issue I take with it, and I think the issue is me and not the show.
Yeah.
I think I put a little bit too much literalness on this fight. Okay? So my issue is...
Oh, God.
If they're going to use these body modifications and these gauntlets to punch...
Yeah.
But they're still punching you in the face?
Yeah.
My bro, you're going to get knocked out and not be able to fight back. And they're just taking these punches and getting thrown into walls like it's nothing, and we're just supposed to say A-okay because they're using gauntlets and body mod. Okay, their face is not modded, they're just wearing gauntlets on their things, so when they're getting thrown into things, use your logic. That's not real. And I know that that's me and my thing, and I need to, like, let reality live where it lives and then take this for what it is, but I couldn't.
Haven't you heard of, like, adrenaline?
Sorry.
It's like the same concept as, like, what is it, like when a mother, like...
Sorry.
No,
It is not even remotely close.
No, guys, listen. For all of you guys that disagree with Alyssa, I got you right now. Okay, so basically, it's kind of like when a mom, like, if a kid is trapped under a car and, like, a mom, like, is able to, like, lift up a car.
So you think they are holding on to that much adrenaline for a 5-minute fight sequence in which they're using the one chick has body modifications, and the other one is using gauntlets, and they're being punched in the face and in the stomach and all over the body, and you think it's A-okay.
Yes, okay, because
of mom strength. Because of mom strength.
Listen.
So they're getting internal bodily damage.
No,
listen, because mom strength.
Okay, let's talk about all the internal body damage that everybody gets in this show.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I'm saying, like, I really just need to let it go. It's just that was my one real issue.
Okay, but hear me out.
Okay, yeah, I got you, I'm here.
Because Vi's the one with the gauntlets, okay? And, like, I agree with you. Like, you get punched out by one. I mean, Vi, like, literally took on those, like, weird monstrous creatures all by herself with those gauntlets.
She ripped the chick's mod arm off, threw the chick into a jukebox upside down. She's bleeding out, and you still see her alive a few minutes later. Like, tell me how that's real.
Because Savika is, like, so shimmered up. Like,
okay, that part I actually get. Now let's turn it around to Vi. She has this jacked up arm. I watched her punch a Vi in the face. A Vi goes flying through a wall, breaks through the wall into another one, and then just gets back up? Shari, no.
She had a moment where
she's knocked out.
The couch,
she's knocked out. If you get hit in the face, I'm sorry, but enough force that you're flying through a wall, your jaw is no longer there. It's not
animation.
Thank you. I'm glad you're finally on board, because that I know. I understand. I need to let it go. It is anyways.
Okay.
All right, anyways, that was Arcane season 1.
Yeah.
Well, any last thoughts on that?
I want to ask you, what do you think about the future of Caitlyn and Vi?
I think they're going to finally make out.
Oh.
I think they will form some kind of situationship in season 2, whether it becomes full-on relationship or not by the end. My crystal ball is unclear at the moment. And what else? I think...
Actually, I have 2 more questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm pretty interested in to see the Jinx storyline progress and to see if I was even remotely close on my armchair psychiatry about it. Yeah. What's your other questions?
Okay. Who's your favorite character? Echo.
Actually, thank you for bringing that back up. I did want to
Oh, my man, Echo don't get too much love.
Nah, I just want to bring back up one last thought in that if I was to live in this Arcane universe, it would be in the place in which Echo lives, where the little house and the fireflies and stuff are. That's just where I'd be.
Alyssa would be a firefly, 100%.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Which actually brings me to my last question. Yeah. What character do you think you're most like?
Caitlyn.
Why?
Because you actually know this about me. I'm quite a rule follower.
Yeah.
Like, believe it or not, like, I am...
It's just not what I thought you would say.
What did you think I would say?
I don't know anything about it, but go. Continue.
Well, no, I'm curious, though. What would you have said for me, I guess?
I need to think about this for a second.
Because to me, you're also Echo. Like,
that's a compliment.
I
Okay.
mean, to me, you are Echo, though. You know what I mean? Like, you actually personify that character quite a bit. Like, you're helpful. You're always, like, giving. You're always for your friends and for the people. And I think if our society broke down, you would fight for your people. Like, I truly do think that.
Yeah.
And Caitlin does it, too. Don't get me wrong. She just does it about it a different way. But I think her and I are kind of very similar in, like, the awkward-y, like...
Yeah, no, yeah, Caitlin sounds... Yeah, honestly, yeah, no, Caitlin, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Last
You're gonna ask
thing...
me?
I already told you who you were. You're Echo.
You're like, I don't need to ask you. I'm telling you exactly who you are.
I already figured out who you are. I don't care who you think you are.
What if I think I'm not Echo?
Who do you think you are?
I think I am Echo.
Yeah,
Because, like, for the longest, I thought I was, like, Vi. And I think I have attributes of Vi. Like,
I think everyone does.
Yeah, and, like, in the sibling aspect. Like, I think that's how I interact as a sibling. But I think Echo is, like... Because I would say, like, I have, like, a lot of also Jinx, and I have, like, a lot of Vi. But, like, I think Echo kind of, like... encompasses both of them in a lot of ways because like he grew up with both of them. Echo does have this kind of like I'm gonna fight for my friends and like kind of like Vi like he learned from Vi how to fight, you know.
He's just going about it a different way than she is, and and to me his way is a bit more healthy. She I guess we're not even close to being done with this episode. She is trying to survive, and he's trying to do better than just survive. He's trying to have reasons for living that are just survival, right? And you can really tell he's built a more robust and more fulfilling life for himself than Vi has. And granted, she's been in prison for however long, but that's the difference between those two characters. Is he cultivated a community in this hardship where she's more focused on her and her own. Yeah, like he's much more community based, which I think is who you are down to the core anyway.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think I'm definitely Echo, and yeah, I love my man Echo.
Okay, so one thing I actually thought we could start introducing was, so for those of you who don't know, our podcasting hosting site lets us know from where in the world we are getting viewers.
Oh, yeah.
And I just thought that at the end of the podcast we could shout out a couple of the countries we saw pop up.
Oh,
give them a fun little hello.
I love that.
Yeah, so we wanted to give a quick little hello to some of the countries we saw. We saw Germany. Hello to Germany.
We saw South Africa. What up?
Yeah. We saw Israel.
We saw Israel.
What up, Israel? Let's do one more. Let's do the last one.
Hong Kong.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out if I can say hello in any of these languages.
Oh, that's a good, yeah.
I think, okay, guys, don't come for me. I'm just trying this out. Okay, Hong Kong, ni hao. Okay. Israel, shalom.
Shalom.
South Africa, I'm not sure how to say.
Hello.
Why is that my British?
Yeah, I didn't know. Germany. Cheers.
Cheers. Yeah, cheers.
Yeah, no, I think that's good for today. Maybe next time we'll do some cities instead. But yeah, anyways, so thank you to those countries for listening. If you'd like a shout out, like you yourself, all you need to do is give us some kind of comment or some feedback in which we get your name, and then we'll give you a shout out. Yeah. Or donate to us on Patreon. Of course, we'll give anyone who donates to us a shout out at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
That's literally it for this week. Shari, want to take us out?
Yeah. Oh my God, tomorrow... At the time of us recording this, tomorrow we are dropping our very first episode, and it's very exciting.
Yes, congrats to us.
Yeah, and but yeah, I guess we go out on that. Happy New Year, Happy Lunar New Year.
Feliz Navidad.
Feliz Navidad. But yeah, all right. That's it.
Make sure you to like and subscribe and follow us on everywhere you can get podcasts.
Share with your friends.
Like us on Instagram, TikTok.
Review us. That helps a lot.
We are also on Reddit, and you can catch the episodes dropping on Reddit now, and there will be a discussion for those of you who would like to partake on Reddit.
Yeah.
So yeah, anywhere you can find us, we're actually Sapphic Pod. And yeah, stay safe, stay healthy, stay Sapphic.
Yeah.
Adios.
Bye.